Okay, today we're going to be making a banana cream pie. So we're going to start off with the crust first. And what we want on the crust, we want 3 cups of flour. Now, most of the time we would just kind of dip the cup into the flour like that, but actually the best way to measure out flour is first of all give it a little mix so it lightens it up, puts a little air into it, and then you use your scooper and put it into your cup because this is a better actually flour mixture. So we need 3 cups of flour. There's one. And this is the first time I'm using this recipe. I've been trying out different recipes. I want to figure out which one is the best tasting. So this one is a little different, so we'll see how this one turns out. But this is going to be the crust for the banana cream pie. Okay, so there's 3 cups of flour. Okay, and now we're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I always use coarse salt. So there's 1 and a half. Where's my half teaspoon? Okay, that's that. And then for baking powder, you want to use 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And you always want to make sure your ingredients are nice and fresh. Okay, so we're going to just kind of give that a little mixture here. Mix it up. All right, so now what I'm going to do is get 1 egg. We're going to mix the egg up. You want to really break up that egg. Okay, so this is the first time that I'm actually going to use in this recipe, but I'm using apple cider vinegar. And the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So let's get that into our egg. Where is my 1 teaspoon? Okay, so there's a teaspoon in there of apple cider vinegar. Mix that up. And then we're going to also add in 1 cup of lard. And your lard should be cold. So I'm going to add this in. And basically, you can use any shortening. This is just a store brand, but Crisco is very good to use too. I just ran out and I picked this up, but it works just the same. So you want to add 1 cup of that.
Oh no.
Oh, hi, honey. I got my grandbaby in here with me today.
Oh no.
Is that an air helicopter that you hear? Yeah, it's a helicopter. Be careful. Don't go out. Okay, so then there is the lard.
Help.
And so what we want to do, I have,
Will it help?
oh yeah, it's a helicopter. I have a pastry blender, and you just kind of want to mix that in there. And then we'll add in our wet ingredients. But just really get it in and blend it good. So it's kind of like a sand type grain. You don't want big chunks of the shortening in there. So, are you ready for a little nap, little boy? Okay, so we're going to mix this really good. And that's pretty much mixed. Let's get it all off the blender here, our pastry blender. Okay, so now at this point we're going to add in our wet ingredients. So what we'll do is we're going to add, let me just get this off, because the rest of it you're going to do by hand. So we'll add in the egg along with the apple cider vinegar in there. And then we're also going to add in 5 tablespoons of ice water. Now, when you add your water in, you want to make sure that your water's cold. It works best with cold water. So, let me get, I have a dispenser that distributes ice water or hot water. Okay, so now we're going to add in 5 tablespoons. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So clean hands, and then what you want to do is you want to get that mixed in really well. And you really don't want to overwork it, but you want to get it all mixed nice and good. It still may be a little sticky, but that's okay, because what you're going to do is let this chill for 1 hour so that it's very pliable when you work with it. But anytime you're working to make any kind of dough, you always want to make sure that your ingredients are nice and very cold. I normally make my pie crust with butter, and you could always see like lots of chunks of butter in the mixture, which gives it so much flavor as it starts to bake. But this recipe, like I said, I'm trying it out for the very first time, so I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out with an egg and apple cider vinegar. That's kind of different for a pie crust. Okay, so that's coming together pretty good. And like I said, you do not want to overmix this. So we're going to pour it out onto our plate. Hi, honey. Hi. What you got? Oh, you got your toys? Okay. All right, so there is our mixture. And you just want to kind of press it together until it forms like a ball. And it all comes together. And this is basically what it should look like after you've got it all blended. You need help? Okay, Grandma's hands are dirty right now. You open it. Can you open it? Can you open that? Okay, so there it is. And then what you want to do is just split it in half, because this makes 2 pie crusts. And then, let me get my saran wrap. And then we're just going to pat it into a disc, and then we're going to refrigerate it. If I can get that. There's one. And there's 2. Okay, so kind of pat it into a little disc. Wrap it up and refrigerate it for at least an hour. Let it really get nice and chilled before you start to roll it out. Okay, and so this is our pie crust. Oh, thank you. I'll open it right now, okay? Let Grandma finish right here. Okay, guys, so that's your pie crust. We'll come back in an hour and continue on making the filling for the banana cream pie.